Imagine gathering some of the smartest executives in the world, decades of experience, elite education, millions of dollars in resources, access to mountains of data, and then one making a decision so bad that future business students study it as a warning. Sounds impossible. It isn't. In fact, it happens more often than you'd think. Kodak invented the future and ignored it. Blockbuster laughed at Netflix, and Boeing made decisions that would eventually dominate headlines around the world. Different companies, different industries, same problem: governance failure. And no, governance is not just a bunch of people sitting around discussing policies nobody reads. It's much more important than that. Let's start with Kodak. For most of the 20th century, Kodak dominated photography. If you took pictures, chances are Kodak made the film. The company was so successful that it became almost synonymous with photography itself. Then something interesting happened. In 1975, a Kodak engineer helped create one of the world's first digital cameras. Think about that for a second. Kodak didn't miss the digital revolution. Kodak invented part of it. But leadership worried that digital photography would hurt their film business. So instead of fully embracing the future, they protected the past. Unfortunately, the future arrived anyway, and it didn't ask permission. As digital photography exploded, Kodak struggled to adapt. The company eventually filed for bankruptcy protection in 2012. Imagine inventing the future, and then losing to it. Now let's talk about Blockbuster. If you're old enough, you probably remember Friday nights walking through aisles of movies hoping the new release wasn't already rented out. Blockbuster was everywhere. Then along came a small company called Netflix. Back then, Netflix wasn't the streaming giant we know today. It was basically mailing DVDs. Not exactly revolutionary. In 2000, Netflix reportedly approached Blockbuster about a potential acquisition. Blockbuster declined. At the time, it probably seemed reasonable. After all, Blockbuster was the giant. Netflix was the little guy. But governance isn't just about avoiding bad risks. It's also about recognizing good opportunities. We all know what happened next. Netflix transformed entertainment. Blockbuster became a case study. Some of the most expensive words in business history might be, "No thanks, we're doing fine." Now let's move to Boeing. Unlike Kodak and Blockbuster, this story wasn't about missing a trend. It was about decision-making under pressure. The Boeing 737 MAX was designed to compete aggressively in a changing market. But investigations later raised serious questions about oversight, communication, and how safety concerns were handled. The result was one of the most significant crises in modern aviation. The lesson isn't that Boeing lacked talented people. Quite the opposite. The organization was filled with highly skilled professionals. That's what makes governance failures so dangerous. Bad outcomes don't require bad people. Sometimes they happen when incentives, priorities, and oversight become misaligned. The pattern: Kodak, Blockbuster, Boeing, 3 different stories, one common theme. Nobody woke up one morning and said, "Let's make a terrible decision today." That's not how governance failures happen. They happen slowly. Small assumptions, ignored warnings, overconfidence, pressure, short-term thinking, and eventually, those small decisions become very expensive headlines. Why governance matters. This is what governance is really about. It's not paperwork. It's not bureaucracy. It's not endless meetings. Governance is the system that helps organizations make better decisions. It creates accountability. It challenges assumptions. It forces difficult questions. And sometimes it prevents leaders from becoming victims of their own success. Because history shows something fascinating. Great companies rarely fail because they run out of smart people. They fail because smart people stop questioning their decisions. The next time you hear the word governance, don't think about policies. Think about Kodak. Think about Blockbuster. Think about Boeing. Think about the decisions that seemed reasonable at the time. Because governance isn't about controlling the future. It's about creating the conditions for better decisions before mistakes become disasters. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Caesar Cyber Risk and let me know in the comments, which corporate decision do you think was the biggest mistake in business history?